Today, we're diving deep into just one single ancient chapter of prophecy, Isaiah 21. And let me tell you, it is packed with some powerful, almost cinematic imagery. And it all revolves around this one solitary figure, the Watchman.
Really, the whole story hangs on this one question. I want you to just picture it, a lookout, perched high up on a city wall, staring out into the darkness, just waiting. What in the world does he see? And what message does he have for a world that's basically holding its breath?
Well, the answer is, he sees nothing less than the rise and fall of great powers. So you can tell the stakes here are incredibly high. This is not some minor report on troop movements. This is about the entire course of history being shifted, as if by a divine hand.
So let's get into that first vision, and it is a grievous one. To really get the impact, you have to remember the context. Isaiah is prophesying when the Assyrian Empire is at its absolute peak. But the vision he gets, it's not even about Assyria. It's about an empire that wasn't even Judah's main enemy yet, Babylon.
You know, the text calls this a prophecy, but the original Hebrew word is masa. And this is so important because it literally means a burden. That one word tells you everything. This isn't just information the prophet is getting. It's a heavy, weighty, divine oracle that he is compelled to deliver.
So the vision just explodes into action with this sudden, violent imagery. Picture a storm of invaders, described like whirlwinds, just sweeping in from the desert. This is not a slow, creeping invasion. This is a catastrophic, unstoppable force, which we now know represents the Medo-Persian army that would eventually take Babylon.
And then the vision zooms in, and it gets incredibly specific. A divine command is literally issued to the very nations that would team up against Babylon, Elam, which is ancient Persia, and Media. You get this picture of total chaos, of betrayal and looting, and it's all framed as an act of divine judgment.
Now this is where you realize Isaiah isn't just some detached observer watching a movie. He feels the horror of this vision physically. He actually says his body is racked with pain, just like a woman in labor. It shows you what a prophetic burden really is. It's not just seen, it is felt, deeply and painfully.
Okay, so now we're building to the climax of this first prophecy, and honestly, it leads to one of the most famous declarations in the entire book of Isaiah.
And look at this contrast. It's just wild. Inside the city walls, Babylon's leadership is completely clueless. They are throwing a massive party, feasting, drinking. It's a perfect picture of arrogant complacency. You might remember this from the story of Belshazzar's feast.
And then, bam, the party comes to a screeching halt. An alarm goes off. The command to oil the shields is this abrupt, panicked call to get ready for battle right now. The banquet of denial is completely shattered by the reality of the invasion at their gates.
And this brings us right back to our central figure, the Watchman. He's up on his tower, and he has one simple, absolutely critical command: watch. He's to be alert, fully alert. His entire purpose is to see what's coming and to report the truth, no matter what that truth is. And here it is. This is his report. The triumphant cry, "Babylon has fallen, has fallen." That repetition isn't just for emphasis, it's this huge shout of victory. And notice that detail. Its idols are shattered. This is so key. It's not just a military defeat, it's a total spiritual collapse, proving its gods were powerless to save it. Okay, take a breath, because the scene now shifts dramatically. The noise and chaos of a falling empire just fade away, and they're replaced by this quiet, really mysterious exchange in the dead of night. The whole tone becomes much more suspenseful. A voice cries out from Seir, which is the land of Edom. And it's such a desperate question. Watchmen, what is left of the night? The night here isn't just about darkness. It's a symbol for a long period of oppression, of suffering. They're basically screaming into the void. Is there any hope? Is this almost over?
The Watchman's answer is famously cryptic. It's this incredible mix of hope and warning. On the one hand, he says, morning is coming. So yes, relief is on the horizon. But then he immediately adds, but also the night. The struggle isn't over yet. The real message here is about endurance. Hope is real, but you're going to have to be patient and persevere to see it.
Now for the third and final prophecy in this chapter. And this one is swift and it is laser-focused. It shifts our attention to a completely different kind of power, the nomadic tribes of the Arabian desert.
And what's just shocking here is the precision.
The prophecy says that judgment will come within exactly 1 year, as meticulously counted as a servant's contract. This isn't some vague, oh, someday kind of prediction. It has a strict, verifiable timeline, which just underscores how certain it is.
And the outcome is just as specific. Kedar, one of the most powerful and wealthy Arabian tribes at the time, is going to see its splendor just vanish. Their legendary archers, their mighty warriors, will be reduced to just a handful of survivors. It's this stark reminder that nobody, not even mobile and seemingly secure peoples, is beyond the reach of this divine judgment.
So we've looked at 3 really distinct prophecies here. Let's zoom out now and see how they all tie together into one powerful, enduring message. What's the big picture?
So when you put them side by side, it's pretty clear. For Babylon, with its collapsing tower, the message is that pride always comes before a fall. For Duma, or Edom, that image of night and morning teaches us that hope requires vigilance. You have to keep watching. And for Arabia, with its fleeing caravans, we learn just how fragile any kind of worldly security really is.
So these specific prophecies all point to some much bigger ideas. First, human empires and all their pride and power, they're temporary. Second, God is sovereign. He is directing history, even when it looks like total chaos. Third, there's a call for us to be vigilant, to stay alert in uncertain times. And finally, the historical fall of Babylon is meant to be a foreshadowing, a prefigurement of a final, ultimate judgment.
But when you boil it all down, this whole chapter brings us back to that one person, the Watchman. Whether he's facing a collapsing empire or answering a desperate question in the dark, his responsibility is always the same: to see reality for what it is, and to speak the truth no matter how comforting or how terrifying that truth might be.
And that, of course, brings us to the final question, the one this ancient text leaves for us today. In our own complex, often uncertain world, what are you watching for? What do you see on the horizon? And what truth are you being called to speak?